walked in.
take the bag, put the bag in a
So it's just sitting
garbage
there.
can.
She said,
You know, a tall garbage can. He says, why? He says, you pick up 15 inches. Every time you have
important
to
that
lift.
the
You're not gonna reach to the floor.
the
He says, it's in
near
the bag,
ground
you look
level,
on top of the
don't
garbage.
open even in
At
the
the top
most
of the garbage can. And walk around with a course out here.
Apparently it's.
Slept in a chair for 2 weeks.
Hopefully do it. And they probably want to get them.
But I'm satisfied with the action.
Or they go, oh,
You're right.
No, I haven't had to follow him
Yeah.
yet.
Fifth wheel is high.
But,
If you're in a car or a truck, you should be able to see it
Which
back and down.
do some more blood work and to see if
the
there
only,
shouldn't be
they back
anything.
it in so that if the pump is what is towards the sidewalk. That's what I understand.
You know, I have a buddy of mine,
Times at 9.5 feet.
one of them right now, he just
Not
started
10 feet
radiation.
back.
You know, it's like
Unless the
freaking
neighbors, they're measuring.
120 ounces.
She's got one lady
Hold that in
who's on a pace
for
off.
10 minutes.
She got one of those neighbors. And the gentleman was just here.
No, actually, I went to
But
Dr. Rutkowski,
kind of representing
Western New York.
their neighbors and things. All my neighbors,
My urologist,
she was really good.
college classmate. So,
Her kids, her kids.
Okay, we can get started. If you wouldn't mind standing, please.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My neighbors, kids, grandkids, and my grandkids. That's fucked up. But they're 40 something.
Roll call, please.
Chair Lorenzo,
Here.
Rebecca Anderson,
Yeah.
John Kopes,
Here.
Anthony Gorski,
Here.
Joseph Keith,
Here.
Lawrence Korzinski.
Here.
Michael Reinhold.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is a meeting of the Planning Board of the Town of Lancaster. Please keep in mind that we are an advisory and recommending board and not a final decision-making body. The rules of the Planning Board allow us to recognize only the petitioners of various projects and their representatives. We ask that anyone wishing to make comment do so in writing. We have the minutes from the last meeting. Any comments or questions? Make a motion to adopt the minutes.
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Next is the communications list. Okay, there were a few that were received after the list was printed, so I'll just go over them real quick here. Dated 3/3 from the Town of Lancaster Building Department. It's regarding project 1143, 5680 site plan, 5680 Broadway site plan amendment. And the proposed landscape plan is listed in the index as missing. Next one was a letter from William Shutt Associates. It's regarding 3857 Walden Avenue Tool Ranch, project 0269. And it's findings from Ed Schiller. And then the last one received from the Town of Lancaster Building Department regarding 3857 Walden Avenue. And I believe actually everyone should have received that one in the mail, if I'm not mistaken. Any questions for the communications log? Okay, we'll go into the agenda then. We're going to skip over the first one for now, and move into project number 2121, 6218 Broadway. If you wouldn't mind coming up, please, sir. Because I'm new, if you don't mind giving me an overview of the project, that would be greatly appreciated.
Sure. General scope of the project is there's a parcel on the corner of Broadway and Schwartz, slightly over an acre. Looking to rezone the property, build a approximately 8,000 square foot commercial building that's primarily used for the storage of the owner's personal vehicles, and then also an office space for him as well. At this specific juncture, what we're specifically looking for now is variance to the required setbacks on the, I believe it's the easterly border of the property, which would be the back side of the building. The standard setback is 50 feet. We're looking for a 25-foot setback because we can't position the building anywhere else on the property without encroaching on another setback on another direction, or without potentially damaging some like existing landscaping, trees, things like that. So that's kind of the general scope of the project.
Okay. Let's see here. Any questions by the board before we go through secret?
I have a question. The comment was made that your dumpster location is over the drain pipe.
Correct.
You've got, right? You've got a pipe that goes from, for drainage,
well-
and your dumpster pad and your dumpster are over the pipe.
Yeah, I believe this was some time ago, and the corrected drawings that were most recently submitted reflect the change of the dumpster location.
I must have looked at an older plan. I've got a lot of them.
Yeah, there's been a few different submissions, but that we did correct that and address it on the drawings for
Okay,
sure.
so the entire pad, the dumpster pad, and everything is shipped. Which way did you go? Towards the building or towards the road? Remember?
I don't recall off the top of my head, no.
Okay. Or did you move the pipe?
That I'm not sure. I believe we just moved the dumpster location. But yeah, I do know it was addressed because the town would not,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, why tear everything up?
Yeah,
The pipe fails.
yeah.
You know? So,
The secret under
yeah.
no factual reason.
Matt, do you know?
Yeah.
Right, so they also listed that.
It was just a few feet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't very far.
At least
Okay.
my notes are-
I apologize for that, but I couldn't find the plan to show that.
No problem at all.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
This is on 6218 Broadway? Or, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
I would also just quickly like to clarify that the portion of the building that we're requesting the setback on will be the back side of the building. There's no windows, there's no lights, there's no doors, there's no garage doors, there's nothing on the side that we're requesting the variance for the setback. It's just the back side of the building. So there won't be any lights that'll be shooting into the neighboring property. There's no windows where people could look out, no garage doors. There's no vehicles that'll be driven around the back side of that building. It's just a plain Jane back of the building.
You've applied to the variance board?
Mhm.
Okay, your application?
Mhm.
Well, it still needs to go back to the zoning board for approvals.
Has to go to the ZBA,
Yeah, so it still needs to, so,
but we have to do seeker first.
yes.
Yeah, I guess what she's trying to, maybe she's not trying to, I shouldn't speak for her, but
I've got
we are
something done
not,
last
we are not the board that can give your
Yeah.
variances.
Yeah.
I have secret being done last September, the recommended neg deck.
We
That
did.
was the reason.
Just the
Rezone,
rezone
just the
portion of it?
Not, okay,
It wasn't site plan.
Okay.
all right, so we're going secret twice then for
Was, yeah, it's going to be reopening it basically. is.
Okay,
at
that
that
confused me.
point.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I got confused.
Cindy, did you give me that? You did, right? You gave me the form?
But then you'll have the actual EAF that was submitted
Right.
originally, and then it will be your part two.
Okay.
Short form or long form for this?
Long form?
Okay.
Sure.
I have a question on the environmental assessment form. Someone had said that it goes to Erie County Sewer, but I thought there was septic here. I thought you were putting in septic.
I don't believe so. I think,
Maybe
there's,
I'm looking at the wrong plans again.
there's something having to do with, we do have to give some sort of easement to the Erie County, like, Water or Sewer Authority for, I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe it's going to be septic.
Well,
Let me know when you're ready.
go ahead and start. By the time I figure it out, we'll be skipping right along.
We're going to go over this, so just take a seat if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Sit up, so in case we have any questions, we'll ask you. So, impact on land. Proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site.
Yeah. When I'm thumbing through here looking for it, always a couple of questions that we always have to look up. According to this, the depth of bedrock is 4 feet, the project soils are well drained, and the project site is pretty flat. So,
No.
No.
I said no.
Okay, no. Number 2, impact on geological features. The proposed action may result in modification or destruction of or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms of the site.
No.
Number 3, impacts on surface water. Proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies.
There's a ditch. There's a ditch that goes from east to west, but it should be avoided. I would imagine, so the answer would be no.
No. Number 4, impact on groundwater. Proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater or may have the potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer.
No.
Number 5, impact on flooding. Proposed action may result in development on land subject to flooding.
No.
Number 6, impacts on air. Proposed action may include a state-regulated air emission source.
No.
Number 7, impact on plants and animals. Proposed action may result in loss of flora or fauna.
Overall, no.
No. Number 8, impact on agricultural resources. The proposed action may impact agricultural resources.
No.
No.
No, we should make a comment, though, that this is only the corner which was previously occupied by 2 houses. This is not the entire site, which is under agricultural uses farther to the north.
That is a separate tax parcel.
It's a separate tax parcel. But it didn't used to be at one time, I believe it was one. Well, maybe it's always saying.
Separate and distinct from this particular one that we're looking at.
Yeah, this corner
Totally
had
different
the
scale.
had
Yeah.
2 houses on it. They were close to each other. So we need to just make sure that it's, the answer is no, but people look and say, but there's farming right here. It's still a no.
No. Number 9, impact on aesthetic resource. The land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or are in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource.
No.
Number 10, impact on historic and archaeological resources. Proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource. 11, impact on open space and recreation. Proposed action may result in a loss of recreational opportunities or reduction of an open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan.
No.
Number 12 does not apply. Number 13, impact on transportation. Proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation systems.
No.
14, impact on energy. The proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy.
Small,
No.
yeah.
Number 15, impact on noise, odor, and light. Proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting.
No.
No.
Number 16, impact on human health. Proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants.
No.
Number 17, consistency with community plans. Proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans.
No.
It is, and I can never remember how to answer that because of the negatives in there. It is consistent.
Consistent with it, correct.
It's not inconsistent.
Number 18, consistency with community character. Proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character.
No.
No. So generally, I'd say it was all no, correct?
Yep.
So we would look to the board for a motion?
I'll move we make a motion that it be a negative declaration on this project,
For the site plan.
For site plan, correct.
or site plan.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Hey, Becky, it is a septic,
It is a septic.
according to the engineer's report.
Yeah, I thought I was going nuts here. It is septic. So there's an error. There's an error in your environmental form that said it goes to the sewer, and it does not. Thank you. Okay. So that, we don't need to go back and fix any forms or anything. You just need to, if you're going to put in septic, you have to go through the procedure. Well,
Okay.
when I read that, I said.
All good? Yeah, no problem. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next one is seeker review and site plan review for project number 1863, Genesee Park Lane Development. Have anyone here speak on behalf of that? Again, I'm brand new, so if you wouldn't mind giving me the,
No, I'm Mike Yeager from Keops, and we're the civil engineering firm. So the project is the demolition and addition of 5 buildings, 3 residential components, so they're 9 units each, and then, well, actually, I guess now it's 6 buildings. So the plans that you originally have were in the process of redoing. There were 2 variances that were required from Matt. So we've actually split our multi-use building so that we can avoid one of those variances here. So we've actually split that from one large building, yes, into 2 smaller buildings. They were essentially mirrored images of each other.
Okay.
So we split them by 30 feet, which was the fire code, put a little walkway and a little concrete area in there so people can sit. So that avoids one variance. We're working on the other, I guess, modification to avoid the other variance, which was the 10-foot offset wall on the other structures. So we're just going to basically create an offset wall in one of the units that'll meet that. meet that requirement. So our architectural engineer just got back from Florida, so I called him today. He said he's working on those. So those are that'll be, and it's a slight modification to each one of these three. And then the other building is just a little office maintenance building on site.
I have a quick question. We talked about requiring sidewalks, of course, because essentially at some point they'll connect.
Yes, so I did talk to the DOT, and they said they would not recommend the addition of sidewalks yet because they don't know, there's a traffic study going on, and they're not quite sure of the modifications along Genesee Street. Will it be an additional lane? Will it be turning lane? They said they're not quite sure of the path forward on what they're going to do there. So they don't want to have us include sidewalks in our project because they're not quite sure where they're going to end up. And I don't remember who I talked to there. I talked to the design engineer there.
Right. We talked about finding a place for them. Is there anything that says that sidewalks have to be in the DOT right-of-way? Or could they be set back in the DOT right-of-way and just be on your property?
No, there's no specific location.
The question is, if we say you put them in without sidewalks at this point, and then DOT figures out what it wants to do, but that's a couple years down the road and your project is done, how would we have enforcement of having you put them in later if they're not on the plans?
I guess the other question would be, then we would have to maintain them in perpetuity going forward because they're no longer in the DOT
Yeah,
right away.
maintain them anyway.
Well, yes, but if they're in the DOT area, if it comes through and has to be rebuilt, it's typically not at the homeowner's dime. From my understanding, it's not on the homeowner's cost to rebuild and restore sidewalks.
It is in Lancaster in a subdivision.
No, DOT would rebuild them, but then you'd still be responsible for maintenance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they still, right.
If the DOT was gonna move them, they would move them at their cost, if they were in their way.
If they're in the way.
Right.
But if they were not on the easement at all, so they had nothing to do with DOT, you would still have to maintain them, whether they're on.
Well, yes, I'm thinking more of, I guess, movement or something like that. The other question is, typically you don't have sidewalks with ditches, which is what we have there now. And that would be cost prohibitive if we have to put sidewalks, or if we have to start filling in all the infrastructure. Otherwise, we have to set back our sidewalks fairly healthy distance.
That's where I was going with it, because at some point it could reconnect at the ends of the project to where future sidewalks might connect closer to DOT. So is there a way to design them on the landward side of the ditches, so you don't have to deal with DOTs right away at all, but identify where they could be on your property and not even play with the DOT guessing game?
Yeah, how much right-of-way do they have past the edge of pavement? Do you know?
Say again?
How much right-of-way do they have past the edge of pavement onto your property, or towards your property?
I don't know where the DOT right-of-way ends right now. And that was I guess what he was saying was, he doesn't know where that, I don't know that the DOT right-of-way would end, but he's not quite sure where anything is going to end up based on the traffic study, whether it'll be just an addition of turning lane or additional 2 lanes.
Yeah, 'cause if they're gonna end up widening it with a turning lane or additional lane either way, they may end up taking land.
They may end
They end up taking land.
taking land, right, they could be widening their land.
Yes.
This is why in our conversation, I asked something directly from DOT
Yeah.
that indicated that sort of.
Yeah,
thing.
that was the one
If
I
you're able to
haven't-
provide that, I think it's a little bit easier for the town to do.
Okay. Yeah, he had given me that verbal, but yes, I know the written email. So I will track that down again and make sure that we get something written from DOT. Because that was his direction to us, is that I would not recommend to anybody, or to you or the town, that we install
Yeah,
sidewalks at this time.
the town is not going to come back and at their expense and put them in. And DOT may or may not ever come through and put them in. They might, like they are in transit.
Yes.
They
Let's
might.
keep in mind, though, when we do issue these conditional sidewalk waivers, at any point, the town can direct the owner to install sidewalk at a later date.
At a later date.
At a later date.
Yeah, that's helpful to know. Because I was just curious if there was a way to get them on the inside of the ditch for, even on, without constructing them, but put them on a set of plans with a note that this is where they could be.
I don't know that they would be on the exterior of the ditch. I don't think there's a way possible to put them on the inside of the ditch
Not enough
there.
space.
It's essentially gravel with probably a couple foot of grass and then right into the ditch. So you're gonna be, with slope stability, with other things, you're gonna be well.
She's
probably-
talking on your
I'm talking about
property
your
side
property.
of the
I
ditch.
don't mean on the DOT.
Oh, okay, I was thinking when you said on the inside of it.
Inside to me means.
On the property, okay, I'm sorry.
Inside, okay?
Yep,
Inside your property line.
I had my insides and my outsides. I mean, on your property.
Okay.
I just don't want this to get at a final approval with us not having something figured out, at least in theory, where we could do something, because if DOT comes through and says, well, we'll put in sidewalks, if you already had them installed on your property, you would just have a double sidewalk. You know, or maybe they wouldn't put them in, it would just loop through and then come out again. But whether DOT, no matter where they go, the property owner has to do the maintenance. They have to do the plowing and the replacement if they crack or they heave or something. That's always on the property owner, unless they're being shifted. Well, it's up to the other guys, they can figure out.
I think knowing that the town come back and require this is something that really helps
It does, so
discussion.
as we move along, we should make sure we have a note of that, both in the minutes and then on any approvals.
yeah, I will definitely make sure I get correspondence with the DOT indicating such. I think, I don't know that necessarily alleviates your,
No, it helps.
construction liability or cost, but it potentially could. Hey, they told them not to install them
Right.
at the time.
At this time.
At this time,
At
yeah,
this time.
that's right,
And
that's at this time.
That's the sticky
So,
wicket.
but I would think that'd be a stronger case if they're telling you, hey, don't do it.
It would
you
be a
know.
stronger case to move along.
Yes.
But in the long game, you might have to at some point come back and put them in at your own expense. If DOT doesn't,
Yeah, but I think, and I won't answer for the homeowner, but I think that would be potentially easier. Well, things, obviously inflation, everything else, but at least at that point, they're generating revenue, right? They're having rent, they're having, versus all laying it out now, additional expense.
well,
Sometimes it's, at least when you have revenue coming in future, it's easier to,
yeah, but I was hoping to see something on a set of plans before this gets finalized. Maybe with a note that they don't have to be installed now, but at a future date. This is where they could.
Or at least the
end up being.
possibility of a future date,
Yeah,
if directed, this would be the location, kind of,
right.
just forward thinking, not necessarily concrete for today, well, concrete.
but the one thing with the DOT, we did get rid of the, I guess, I would say, the second entrance along Genesee Street, that was removed. So it's only the one location, so we've removed that. We do have the kind of the secondary exit out the back there, which again, wasn't my personal favorite because it's kind of a secluded area back there, but the DOT did recommend that we remove that, so that was removed. So we only have the one entrance now along Genesee.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
And we hope to have that modification done to essentially not have to go through that variance process probably in the next, I'm gonna say week or so. Our architect was finishing up those kind of designs, so we could be back here to present that here shortly anyways.
Let's do secret then.
Have any questions before we go to seeker?
Not for seeker, no.
Okay.
I'd like to know what I'm reviewing.
And this one looks like a short form to me, right? Short?
This is short, isn't it?
Yep. Okay, number 1. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation?
No.
No.
Will the proposed action, number 2, will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
Yes, but it's small.
Small frequent damage.
It's a greater density than what was there, but it's suitable.
Okay. Will the proposed, number 3, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
No. Number 4 does not apply. Number 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
Number 6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No.
Number 7, will the proposed action impact existing public water supplies?
No.
Public wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
No.
Number 8, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
Number 9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources?
No.
Number 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
Number 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
So that's it, right?
There's no larges or moderate, so we don't have to address them.
Okay. Great.
We just have to,
Look for a motion.
no,
For a motion at this point?
Motion for neg deck.
A second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to project 1143, Plum Creek Apartments. Anyone here on, speak on that one? Oh, for that one.
we're not ready to adopt the site plan. He has variance to get through. The one we just,
Yeah, he had
yeah,
to,
you've got variances in the pipeline, right?
No.
No.
There were two that
Oh,
were
you
required.
stopped the, okay.
Okay.
With the variance, you're
Okay.
changing the plan, but do we have a complete set of plans yet? No.
No.
So,
No, those-
so we have to wait till we have a complete set of plans, because we don't push projects forward that we don't.
Yeah, table it.
Yeah, we got a table site plan.
So we're gonna table site plans, we need to do a separate. one.
okay.
Yeah, I needed to resubmit 12 sets of plans to map or.
Well, make me happy and sketch in some possible proposed sidewalk. That could be dotted line,
In pencil.
magic marker.
Pencil
I'm
with an
gonna put
eraser.
them on the plans where they would be according to the existing right of way.
Where they make sense.
Just as a dotted line for potential.
Yeah,
But again, I don't know where that ultimate right of way might end up.
okay, potentially, possibly, perhaps it could be here. Because that way it's so much easier. It's easier on Matt at some future date if he comes back and says, well, we're requiring sidewalks now, and everybody screams why you murdered, but you never said anything before.
Just sidewalk, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Well, can we just draw with question marks?
Or make it an option, optional sidewalk?
Yes, I can look to where, DOT right of, like, where the DOT right of way is, where they would put those off of the,
Yeah, potential location.
yes. Yeah, that way, at least it allows some visibility as to where they reside within the footprint of the property.
That would be helpful, as long as they're not in the ditch.
So we need a motion
Yeah.
to table that, right?
I'll
Table
make a
second.
motion to table, we're on project 1863, until we have a complete set of plans.
Okay, I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay, is there anyone here for Plum Creek Apartments? No?
He's been here before on his project. I don't know. Can we move forward without him?
You can.
What does the board say? Go ahead
Okay,
without
go
him?
through it. Mhm.
Okay,
It's up to
But
everybody.
obviously, if you have questions, he's not here to answer anything, but
Well, you want to see what questions and how you feel about it.
anybody on the board have an idea what they want to do? They want to move through, or they want to wait until he's here to...
I don't know, I think he should come in.
Seems to be your people. It's up to- I mean, why, does he know?
Yeah.
Pardon?
go at it.
When?
3:10 and 1:44 PM.
Could you be more
I mark
exact?
everything.
So,
I actually have questions, so I just didn't
okay,
wait. Up to you guys.
I think if we've got questions, we
If you've got
definitely...
questions, you need
I have
someone
a
to
question
answer.
Matt could probably answer. Did they pull that building out of the floodplain?
Yes,
By both elevation and setback, or
Yes.
just by elevation? Well,
completely
then,
outside of it,
that's what we talked about, is when last time we was here,
right?
was to pull it away, because if any portions in the whole building would be in. And you did that.
Yep.
Well, then I'm good to go.
Is this him?
No, that's Sean.
No, that's fine.
We timed it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I just got the engineering report tonight, and I haven't even read it,
Okay,
so.
so we'll table. I'm sorry.
Should we table or should we move forward, and if there's a question that can't be answered, then we table? Or is that,
You do that either way.
Becky already said, oh, she got an
I got
answer
my
from
question
Matt.
answered by the floodplain administrator. So I'm okay going forward. It's up to the other guys.
I would say if I'm not here table, but that's just me.
And we're fine to table it.
yeah, you're the guy.
I move that it be tabled.
Okay. Motion to table? Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Specifically for the next meeting, re-notify the applicant?
Yes.
Do you want to put the onus on him to contact, to make an appointment for it, or?
I think someone in the town should contact him and say, next meeting, maybe put him on first thing,
Yeah.
Yeah,
put him first on the agenda,
yeah, we'll put them up.
and then if he doesn't come,
We requested to be heard at this meeting.
We tried. Okay, we'll move on
And
to,
if he shows up, we can,
Go back to it.
okay, we'll move on to the last project here, project 2117, Edgewater East. Mr. Hopkins is just right on time. Hello. Hi,
Different place, right?
Yeah.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the Planning Board. Sean Hopkins of the law firm of Hopkins, Sorge, and McCarthy. On behalf of the applicant, Young Development, Inc., also with me is Joe Young from Young Development, as well as John Bardiak, the project engineer from Carmina Wood Design. This project's been presented to you over the course of a couple of previous meetings. Most recently, John did make some changes based on some input in terms of adding some landscaping, et cetera. We've also, I believe the town has undertaken a coordinated environmental review. The 30-day period for involved agencies to express any concerns about the town ultimately acting as lead agency has expired. I don't believe any of the reviews that have been received have raised any concerns about there being potentially significant adverse environmental impacts. Obviously, we are seeking an area variance for 3 additional units. That's subject to a separate review and a public hearing to be held by the Zoning Board of Appeals. What we're simply asking you to consider this evening is recommending the issuance of a negative declaration. You're well aware of the substantive requirements. Number 1, identify the relevant areas of environmental concern. I think you've ultimately done that through your extensive review process. 2, ensure that a hard look have been taken at those identified impacts. And then finally, the seeker determination, which in this case will ultimately be issued by the town board, will need to be supported by a reasoned elaboration. The town staff does a very good job always documenting that fact. So without wasting too much time, all we're simply asking for this evening is a recommendation on a negative declaration. If the Zoning Board of Appeals grants the area variance, we'd obviously have to come back in front of you for site plan approval, and that would occur either way, meaning if ultimately we don't receive that variance, or if we receive the variance, ultimately we'll still come back in front of you. Those 3 additional units, I don't think raise any concerns about environmental impacts. Keeping in mind that even if that area variance was denied, we could literally proceed with this exact same project with literally the same footprints. We would simply have to change the size of the units, meaning it doesn't regulate the size of the units, it regulates the number of units. What we're showing is obviously 60 units versus what's expressly permitted via the zoning code is 57. And then I would also note that obviously Young Development has, I think, a good track record, both in Lancaster and throughout West New York, in delivering high quality multifamily projects. Believe it or not, as passage of time, demand for these type of housing, not only in the town of Lancaster, but in communities in Western New York and throughout New York State, is obviously growing. And that's beyond the scope of this meeting. It's because of a wide assortment of factors, but there is certainly strong demand for these units, and we know they will be leased up when they are built. So if there's any questions, either myself, Joe, or John would welcome the opportunity to address them. Otherwise, all we're simply asking for this evening is a recommendation that the town board issue a negative declaration. I would also note that that's also a prerequisite for the Zoning Board of Appeals to be able to issue a decision as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Total number was 50 units. And
Oh, I'm sorry.
47 were permitted.
I'm sorry, 5 10-unit buildings. That was
Thank you, because I was going crazy.
I meant to say 50, I'm sorry. See, I try and do it without any notes.
Yes, right.
We did well up until
Yeah.
math.
Can we correct that aspect of the statement?
Math.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions or comments from the board? Ed, any questions?
No. I don't have an assessment form for this one. Is there another?
This a long one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we elected to submit the full form just because it provides additional information. I know it is an unlisted action, but I always find that to be more helpful. And Rebecca might scold me if I don't.
No, there's a few things I always like to look up before we get started.
I know, that's fine.
You know, because there's so many things that come across our desk, and I want to make sure I know the site. I mean, it used to be the Smith farm.
Right.
It was in the original submission. No, I thought it was looking for one of the other.
Yeah, it was included with our original site plan application. It completed part 1 of the full environmental assessment form.
Yep.
But again, it is not actually required pursuant to seeker because it's an unlisted action.
It's a reuse of a previously existing farmhouse, barn, garage. This was the Smith farm, and it was there for decades. And it's on
You know, the
Broadway.
front to complete. Oh,
Yeah.
you got it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got this, that's not running, just there for.
The drainage of your soils are poorly drained, but it's a flat site and is 2.5 feet in water table. So the poorly drained is kind of like the definition of the town of Lancaster.
Right. And of course, as you know, the building code was changed, it's almost 2 decades ago now, where we have to do extensive geotechnical testing even for multifamily and residential.
Right.
And we have to follow the recommendations of the geotechnical engineer, which we're well aware of.
Okay. Shall we go through site plan, or it's through seeker? I'm sorry about that. Okay, let's start. Number 1, impact on land. Proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site.
Let's just go through them real quickly.
Okay. Proposed action may involve construction on land where depth to water table is less than 3 feet.
What did I just say? No.
No. Proposed action may involve construction on slopes of 15% or greater.
No.
Proposed action may involve construction on land where bedrock is exposed or generally within 5 foot of existing ground surface.
No.
Proposed action may involve the excavation and removal of more than 1,000 tons of natural material.
No.
Proposed action may involve construction that continues for more than 1 year or in multiple phases.
No, it'll be done in less than 1 year. And it'll be one phase.
I made a mistake on the first one.
Okay?
Proposed action, depth of water table is less than 3 feet. They have it down as 2.5 feet. So it's very small.
Quite
It's
small.
not really a problem because it's a poorly drained site, but I just want to correct that. So it would be a yes, but it's
It'd be a small impact.
small, so the way the form is, it doesn't make a difference.
Right. Okay,
Okay, sorry.
that's okay. Proposed action may result in increased erosion, whether from physical disturbance or vegetation removal.
During construction, but it can't move off-site, so no.
No. Proposed action is or may be located within a coastal erosion hazard area.
No.
Other impacts. So generally, we're going to say no.
Overall, no.
Okay. Number 2, impact on geological features. Proposed action may result in modification or destruction of or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms on the site. No. Number 3, impacts on surface water. Proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies.
No, it's a dry site.
Number 4, impact on groundwater. Proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater or may have the potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer.
No.
Number 5, impact on flooding. Proposed action may result in development on land subject to flooding. Number 6, impacts on air. Proposed action may include a state-regulated air emission source. Number 7, impact on plants and animals. Proposed action may result in loss of flora or fauna.
No.
Overall, no.
No.
They tried to avoid the corner a little bit and that which is coming out, and there are trees taken down. They have a improved site plan, so, or vegetation,
Landscape plan?
landscaping plan.
And clearing plan.
Okay, so the same.
So we'll say overall, no.
Number 8, impact on agricultural resources. Proposed action may impact agricultural resources. No. Number 9, impact on aesthetic resources. The land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or are in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource. No. Number 10, impact on historic and archaeological resources. Proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource. No. Number 11, impact on open space and recreation. Proposed action may result in a loss of recreational opportunities or reduction of an open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan. No. 12 does not apply. 13, impact on transportation. The proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation system. No. Number 14, impact on energy. The proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy. Nope.
Small amount.
And that's for commercial, I think, that question,
Yeah.
generally.
it doesn't meet any thresholds.
Number 15, impact on noise, odor, and light. Proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting.
Just during construction, I mean, there's regulations preventing.
And your outdoor lighting is all flat lenses? and-
It is dark sky compliant.
Dark sky compliant. So no.
So we'll say no there. Number 16, impact on human health. The proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants. No. Number 17, consistency with community plans. The proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans.
It's a no, it is consistent.
I'm just laughing because.
Yeah, I can never tell you that one.
I have to go through.
I struggle with that one too every time.
Every time I have to
Yeah,
go
same
through
thing.
it, right?
Yeah, we word the next one.
Worded backwards.
I don't even want the video recording my head movement during that. I don't even go like this or like this.
Number 18, consistency with community character. The proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character.
I guess a no.
No. Okay, so let's see. At this point, I think we're ready for a motion.
I'll move for a negative deck.
Okay? Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay,
Thank you, and also thank you for moving us on the agenda. I really appreciate that.
no problem. No problem at all. Thank you. We'll see you back here.
That would be a no. That would be a no.
You want to shut down?
Make it 47, I'll do yes.
That's exactly.
Okay, does the board have any other thing they want to discuss? No? Ed, anything else for you? Emily from the attorney's office, anything?
No?
Matt? I know you do.
Thanks.
Let me fold up my mouth.
Got me a little stressed there, Carl. But I was happy to do that. I was able to communicate with just about every stale project that we had dating back to 2017. So we either restirred or verified whether or not these projects are done. And I was able to provide that information to you with email today, as well as copy. You have hard copies with you right now? You should have been provided a hard copy of my findings there.
Yes.
They were definitely emailed.
Yeah, and thank you for doing that.
Yeah, so it may revive a couple of them, but again, you'll have to represent.
Yeah, Matt and I and Cindy were talking about this in the past for the board members. We wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to look through, because when I came on, that was one of the things I looked at was, there looks like there's some things in here that are old, and I'm not really sure. I'm trying to catch up with everything, and don't know if I need to spend a lot of time on some of these things or not. So I asked if Matt wouldn't mind, and he was very obliging to go ahead and take a look at it. Thank you very much. Accommodating was the word I said. Thank you.
Also, yesterday I was given a demonstration on our software program on how to implement a planning and zoning module so that we can access it at a planning board level, engineering level, town attorney, and it'll basically create a flow chart of these projects as they go through. It would be able to track, and you would be able to just log in and view where these projects are. It's a great repository of where all that information can be electronically stored on server. Cool. So we're not getting hammered with trees and pages of old documents and what have you. I'm currently utilizing the permitting software. There's an attachments tab, and it's just getting loaded with PDFs of any electronic submittals that we're getting, just so that we have them on an electronic record of them. But again, the demonstration was shown yesterday. They're tabulating some costs. It's not going to be cheap.
Nothing is.
It's going to be an investment. We'll have to buy some licensing per department, I would imagine, and then create some logins to access that information. So we have other municipalities around that are currently utilizing it. I think it's very moldable to what we want to do with it, and it's also when you enact that module, it also brings on the ZBA portion of it as well. So it comes as a part of the package.
That would be
So as that detail, comes forward, I'll get it, if anything, to be honest with you, it may be feasible for the 2024 fiscal year. I can't see it implementing it this year.
Sure.
And what, another nice caveat to that is, later on this year, we'll also be going live with a web portal where applicants can make permit and complaint applications online, make payment through the town clerks online through our website. This will fit nicely with that, so we can have electronic submittals, electronic payments, and again, all of the tracking necessary for each one of these projects can be easily stored in a nice, neat place that everybody can get at.
Which is obviously not being done right now.
Well, we have 31 copies of something, and they're getting sent out to everybody and anybody, and all the amended documents and everything that follow through. It's a huge management issue.
Sure.
Okay.
I think that was it on the planning module.
Okay.
Matt, I had a question about the subdivisions. 5680 Seabird subdivision, Rick Robinson, and then we have the Seabird CMK. What's the Seabird subdivision then? It's a different one.
That's a 10-lot subdivision on the northern side of Seabird Road at William Street.
Tough to get through right now.
We've looked at this before?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it never made it out of sketch plan. They need to get into preliminary plat. At my first conversation, they weren't interested in pursuing it, but then later on he calls back and says, we may want to pick it up. Their biggest issue there was creating a stormwater system that could be managed by all 10 lots.
This is the road frontage.
Correct. Yeah, they needed to extend a portion of the sanitary sewer from William Street down southerly on the east side of Cedar Road.
And the CMK, it's been a couple of years, hasn't it, since we...
Yeah, that project, it was 185 Cedar Road. They had to get scoping on that, and that's kind of where it stopped.
Yeah.
They were inundated with other projects, and the workload got to be a little bit too much with them. I did speak with an agent from the company, the owner of the business, will be back in town tomorrow, and he can make a decision. And with that being said, we do have inquiries in town for different types of development on land similar to this one. I really don't want to get too much in detail, but primarily it's going to be maintaining a parcel of one whole lot, but more of a planned unit development, family compound type of a scenario, a destination place. So I don't think we're going to see any density issues. Just the inquiries that I've gotten in the last 3 weeks.
Anything else, Pat?
Yes, I'm working on, there are 2 applications, subdivision and site plan review applications. I've had inquiries again about the electronic filings. So with each one of those, we're going to request a full set of electronic submittals along with the paper. I would want to have some open discussion on perhaps limiting. I don't think we need 31 copies of paper documents, since most or some of those need to be forwarded to other agencies through electronic filings now. And I know with our department, we're trying to move in that direction, so that may be one less. I don't know if with engineering, attorney, you know.
Yeah, from my perspective, I still need a full set of drawings. I'm trying to review them and scale them. It's just, you know, I mean, I can print them, but I'd rather have a developer print them.
Yeah, so I mean, if we can, as a group, come together and identify, do we need 31, or can we get away with 18? I don't have that answer.
Okay.
So again, I do have the Word documents, I'm going to tweak them, I'm going to get them up to the latest and greatest in the subdivision regulations, and then the site plan and review, we'll try to, not revamp it, but formulate it in a way where it becomes a little bit easier to explain, show a process, the flow of the process, so everybody can understand exactly what they need to do.
Great. Last thing, that was Sydney, did you have an opportunity to find out about training? I know we had talked about some training that you were going to talk to.
Oh, check them out. No, I have not received a date of when it's available.
Okay.
Did put it out there, told them it would be reviewing the secret process, but not the secret.
If you're specifically looking for credit hours, I would highly suggest you log on to the county site and register for the notifications. They just went through the winter series and they're preparing now for the spring series. Something just came out a few days ago from,
County planning site?
excuse me?
County planning site?
Yes, Erie County.
Anything else? I'll make a motion to adjourn then.
1 second.
All those in favor? All right. Opposed? Motion adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, well,
We're not
running
going to take paper
around,
copies.
like I said, we just got back. I bought a new place, a new house.
Oh, where?
In a place called The Villages in Florida. It's in Central Florida. It's like a golf cart community. It's a lot of fun.
We're,
Central Florida. It's about an hour south.
Where are you doing driving that big ass truck?
If you Google it, you'll see some images. It's called The Villages.
I'm
It's
taking
really,
your truck.
really fun.
Yeah.
My folks went down there about
The running boards though come down on the side. Unlock the door. So
They have big squares.
God, otherwise, yeah, it would be stuff like
that. Music every night, restaurants, golf courses. I mean, you drive your golf cart to the hospital, the hardware store. No cars, you know, it's great for my folks because they don't get around so well. Good. So we bought a place, we're renting it until we're ready.
Good for you.
It's the end game, my friend.
He sounded like it was for sale.
It sounds like it, yeah, like a place called, putting down.